Okay, so as he mentioned, I'll be talking about bullshit today. My name is Charanya, which basically means the source of knowledge, and I'm hoping in the spirit of my name, I talk about enough bullshit, and in that process, share some wisdom and hopefully learn some from you as well. So I believe that we live in our lives in black and white, in yeses and in nos. So a middle ground where ideas meet, where people connect, where conflicts might get resolved is quite rare. So the idea I'm actually presenting today is to demystify this concept of black and white, to move a little bit away from dualistic society. If you look at this picture, it's a very big picture of a very tiny leaf. So I think we can draw a lot of inspiration from nature because it thrives in this multitude of colors. And that's something that is usually missing in our lives because we lack or sometimes forget to think in different perspectives. This is a picture of a ginger, which is actually in botany a rhizome. What is so special about a rhizome is that if you break it into separate pieces and throw it wherever, it will give rise to new plants. So what does this mean in a cultural context? What is the importance of an intellectual rhizome, so to speak? So an intellectual rhizome in a cultural context basically has no beginning, no end. It always survives in the middle. And this, I believe, is the best platform for idea generation, maybe even the future. So far, you might be thinking how all of this is related to bullshit, and I'm going to come to it very soon. But the idea of the intellectual rhizome is very interesting because you might have a very rickety old house of creativity, but what it does is that it helps you find multiple solutions in this very nomadic manner of searching for solutions or answers. So that means you can tackle one problem in a lot of different ways. So finally, the bullshit meter. What am I doing here? Blah, 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 blah. So how is this related to bullshit? Basically, I believe bullshit provides the quintessential middle ground that connects people, that brings them together on one platform in one space to discuss, talk about stuff, and have a little bit of fun. So what am I doing here? Defining bullshit? Probably not. I think all of us have pretty much a good idea of what it is. We are all aspiring or already working entrepreneurs. I think it's part of our life, so to speak. So I'm not even here to redefine bullshit. What I'm here to do is refine the concept of bullshit, add a little bit of zinc to it, probably learn something from it. So what is bullshit all about? It's the art of storytelling. So if one Yorkshireman tries to tell the world how miserable his life is, that's okay. But if 4 Yorkshiremen try to do it, the world will definitely believe. So if you can tell a story, hell, I can tell a story better. And that's what bullshit is really about. Moving on, what does this lead to? Yes, we need not necessarily always tell the truth. It's okay to once in a while, falsify certain things. The idea is to go out and tell stories because we all like to live our lives in stories, so to speak. So not everything needs to be always factually correct, but it's the idea of figuring out what maybe pisses off people, what are the things that you can, what are the things that create irreverence, so to speak. So what is it that can bring a little bit of disruption in your life and a little bit of disruption in the lives of people around you? And through that, try and figure out people, try and figure out yourself, and find ideas that may help you to run a business or do something else. Bullshit is also about breaking traditions. So breaking the traditional models of dialogue, so to speak. We all live our lives, we do the same things every day over and over and over again. But sometimes it's nice to break that rut. It's nice to think a little differently because it helps open up our mind and think a little outside the box, so to speak. This is something that's very close to me, talking, no wonder I'm here today. And I believe that most of the creative ideas that we come up in life usually comes through conversations. And it's in conversations with friends and absurd arguments that you find these very interesting little anecdotes and things that actually make you tick and make you believe something is doable. So, example of bullshit, ladies on whom my attentions are weighted if you consider my merits are small, etiolated, alembicated, orotund, tasteless, fantastical, monotonous, crotchety, constipated, impotent, galamitous, affected, possibly imitated, for Christ's sake, stick it up your ass. And this was actually one of the first literary references to bullshit, and the story hasn't stopped since. And the poet is T.S. Eliot. This is a picture of the Ministry of Silly Walks. 6 men came together a long time in UK. They had one thing in common, a funny bone. So the point among these 6 men were to make each other laugh, and they became the Monty Python, a group that actually changed television history, so to speak. This is a page called Distracted People. Last year I went to Stockholm. A friend was supposed to pick me up and he forgot. Turns out he's absent-minded. Turns out so is his father and a couple of his other friends. So one evening while they were sitting around bullshitting over a couple of beers, they decided to start this web page, and yeah, 1,000 people joined in. This is a picture of, yes, Guido, one of my housemates, and we all like to bullshit a lot, so it's no wonder my other housemate, Yatan, actually presented just before me, so you know where we come from in that sense. But the idea is that in the house, when we bullshitted, we also learned a lot from each other. We learned to collaborate with each other, and yeah, tell a couple of lies here and there, but also learn to tell stories, and through those stories, understand people and understand ourselves. So after a lot of ideation, I'm standing here today. Not all my ideas were bright. Some of them are extremely stupid, but it doesn't matter. The idea is never to give up and keep going. So what is this? Adda. Adda in Hindi basically means something related to bullshit. Yeah? In Hindi, it's actually called bakchodi. And in a marketing sense, it's the tradition of freestyle conversation. And hopefully, I shall be bringing this to Maastricht through the form of a culture cafe, which ends up connecting people and facilitating interactions. That's my last slide. It's kind of blank. I don't know if you can see a hint of white. This is how I began. It's a black and white canvas, but it's with a hint of green color, which says, go for it. So I hope that my little talk here for 400 seconds did something worthwhile and gave you the courage to step out, bullshit, have a little bit of fun, and just enjoy it. Thank you.